Jai Hind students, welcome back to the IT tutorials of mine. And today I'm going to discuss about the communication cycle, that is the second session of your book of part A. Now communication cycle is basically a cycle that we have to follow to make a communication. Once a communicator or sender try to communicate with others, there are certain cycles which are required to be followed, and that is what communication cycle is. Now, as you can understand, before communicating, I must have a solid information that I want to communicate. That is, I must be present there. That is, as a sender, I should be there. Then I must have information or a message that I want to send. That is the second one. This message encoded into some form and treble to the receiver. Receiver receives it and then receiver respond. That is what the communication cycle is. It means if you want to understand the communication cycle, just see, there is a sender and there is a receiver. Now sender always send a message and receiver again respond. This is a message that sender used to send, and a receiver after receiving the message responds to that. Now sender always send a message, receiver receives it, and if it received well, then it responded to the sender. That is what communication cycle is basically. So what is communication cycle? It is a cycle which is required to follow to make any communication possible between the sender and receiver. That is what cycle is. It means before starting any communication, you must assure that your receiver are in condition to receive it, and as a sender I must have information that I want to communicate, and then of course there should be a link between sender and receiver. Then the information will be only possible to be delivered. That is what communication cycle is. Now the second point, as you can see, the principles of effective communications. Of course, once you are communicating, there are certain rules which are required to be followed to make any communication effective, and that's why it's considered as an principles of effective communication. Now what are the principles of effective communication? I'll let you know that one by one. The first and foremost, your language should be very simple. Your language that you're using to interact with the receiver or audience should be very simple language, so that easily it can digest it to the audience, or it will be easily grasped by the receiver. That is the first and foremost. Then we have a definite again information that I want to deliver. It's not that infinitive way you can start your communication and there is no end of that. No one will appreciate you. So to make your communication effective, we must have a definite set of information that I want to deliver. For example, being as a teacher, once I'm in the class, I must have certain objectives that I want to accomplish on that particular day within 30 to 35 minutes. And that is what definite information you must have. Third is, we have a complete and concise information. Your information that you want to deliver should be not partial, it should be complete what you want to deliver. If a topic I started, I must be in a condition to finish it. I should not start other topic, but the topic that I have started, I should start in such a way it can be completed within that. So your complete information should be delivered, not that partial. Next point may be appropriate mediums. The medium that we are using for communication should be also again very right. Distances between you and your receiver, the channel that you use, interface that you use to interact, they should be perfect. You should check that the last even receiver is in condition to receive your message, and that is what appropriate channel or medium are supposed to be there, and it's also considered one of the principles of effective communication. Your information must be authenticate. It means it must be factual. It must be a right. It must be not a wrong information that you are delivering. Then there is no meaning of the effective communication. And before start communicating, make sure that whatever you are communicating, that is a real one, actual one, not a fake one, not a dummy one. And then we have a courteous. We must be, as a communicator, I must be very courteous enough, polite enough to interact with the audience. Maybe sometime the questions of audience may irritate you. And you have to keep patience. So good communicator always have a patience, always polite, always calm, always cool, and delivering the message. Because its target is to deliver the message. So don't unnecessarily annoy, don't unnecessarily disturb. And that is what the principles of effective communications. We have discussed about the 4-5 points. First is the language should be very again simple. You should have a definite set of information. Then the information should be complete enough. Then you must have a good again or appropriate medium that you are using. And then it should be authenticate, that is a real one, factual one, not sometime again ambiguous statement you are making. So these are certain principles of effective communications. Let's come back to the elements of communication cycle. Now, elements of communication cycle, as I mentioned, we have a sender always. Sender should be there to communicate or to send. Then the one is message. The first element is a sender. Second is a message. Now third, this message is also supposed to be encoded. So encoding. And fourth is a receiver. Receiver decode the message, decoding, and then it's a response or feedback. So these are the all elements of communication cycle. What are these? Sender, then the message, then the encoding code of that message means converting that message in a code so that easily it can deliver and no one can guess it. Receiver receive that message according to their again desire or wish. It's decode. Decode means translating that same message according to their needs, decoding, and then the respond or feedback from that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 elements of communication cycle. Sender and receiver, 2 are very easy to remember. Then the message that you are communicating, that is the third one. The encoding and decoding, that is again related to the conversion of the message. 5, and the last is feedback or the response from the receiver. These are elements of a communication cycle, and we always must follow this cycle. Now feedback. Feedback is very crucial. Feedback is a response or a reaction of a receiver on a particular communication to the sender. So once a receiver receives a message, receiver react, receiver responds, receiver act. And that message once sender receives, that is what the feedback is. And we always again look for the feedback. Being as an student in class, it's your duty to ask for the feedback regarding a particular again assignment that you have completed. And teachers are bound to give the right feedback to an individual one. Now mind it, it's a teacher task to give the feedback, but it's your task being as a student to improve in your life, to improve your skills, to ask for it. And that's why the feedback considered to be a great again tool to improve the communication or to improve the learning. So you may say the feedback is a written or an oral description about a particular again areas of a particular strengths given by the teachers in the, if it is a scene of a class for a particular strengths, how the improvement will take place in that strength, where the children are lacking, where what are the again gravy area or weak again areas for that children. That is what feedback is. So definition of the feedback is it's a response or reaction of a receiver on a particular communication to the sender is called feedback. And as I mentioned, it's considered to be an effective tool to have a great learning. A learning can be very again effective, or effective learning you have need of a feedback. Without the proper feedback, never effective learning can take place. That's why it's your moral duty, being as a student, kindly always ask for the feedback. From the parents, from the teachers, from the elders, from the friends, always keep on taking the feedback so that you will be able to accomplish your goal. So that is what feedback is. Now, importance of feedback, I mentioned the importance of feedback. Feedback helps us to motivate. Feedback helps us to improve. Feedback helps us to reduce the gap between your action and your task or goal that you want to accomplish. Feedbacks also keeps on the right track. Feedbacks also help us to know the what are my talent, for what I am, what are my qualities, and that is what the importance of a feedback. That's why everyone who becomes successful in life must have a lot of feedback, must ask for the feedback from the beginning, and even after becoming a successful person, I must ask for it. Now, descriptive feedback and specific feedback or non-specific feedback. Descriptive feedback is a feedback basically given on a particular topic, particular area in the form of either oral or a written. Once my teacher comments on a particular areas of mine in the written and oral form, that's called descriptive. For example, communication, a teacher is mentioning the communication of your is supposed or required to be improved. It's not up to the mark. It's one of the descriptive feedback. Lack of grammars are there in your communication. Kindly improve your grammar portion. That is again the descriptive feedback. So once a feedback given by a teacher for a particular students regarding a particular again object, regarding a particular area in the form of oral or written, then it's called descriptive feedback, and which is very vital, which is very required. And then you may also categorize the feedback in the two different categories, specific feedback and non-specific feedback. Now, specific feedback is again the feedback about a particular area, particular section, not a general in nature. Now, non-specific, of course, is general in nature. Once I am just simply saying your child is doing well, now in which area child is doing well, the parents may confuse, and it's a non-specific kind of feedback. But once I am talking about a specific feedback, is a feedback that I am giving regarding a particular child about a particular nature, about a particular again entity, about a particular again things of that child, and then it's a specific feedback. So a specific feedback is very required, and we must give the specific feedback where the improvement will be there in that areas after getting that feedback. Child will know, parents will know about it, okay, this area my child is not well. But once it is general remarks of any child I want to do without looking the child, then it's called non-specific feedback. How I'm doing well, or maybe how the study is going on. He is studying well. This kind of feedbacks are called non-specific feedback. So with this is a communication cycle, and in communication cycle we have this all points. So I covered all points. Kindly go through and try to make a note. This is second session of your books I completed, and two session is over. Kindly make a note and solve the exercise of this chapters, and if there is any query, let me know. Kindly subscribe the video also and start watching what I felt you guys are not watching the videos. So kindly watch it. Thank you all. Next session I'll start the session 3. Thank you.